Hello. So nice. Let me see. There I am. Fantastic. We are trying to go live on Facebook and all different kinds of places with a little conversation with Michael Georgi and myself about an animated show that we are creating right now. There will be some people here on Zoom so that we can interact. And other than that, we'll be streaming it out into different Facebook groups, and we have no clue if anybody's watching at all. But we thought it would be really fun to try and make our own little TV show like this. So the guest, my business partner, Michael Georgi, is like a crazy artist who's been in the design industry and can basically do anything with his hands. What I've seen, makes shoes and tables and houses and now even animation films. So I thought it would be really cool to share more of that with both the people in Ox Academy, where we have monthly courses and we do a lot of artwork, and maybe some of the people that I know. Yes, I am not exactly sure how it works, but I think now you can see Michael, and then I see Jona from Ox Academy is here as well. Let's see. I hope the technique is working and everything is good and sound is great. Yes.
I hear everything perfectly, so.
That's great.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, loud and clear.
Loud and clear, you too. Nice. Nice.
Very good. Yes. And how to do this? I structured a little plan in my head that I can just say, and then we see what happens. So I think first I'll just introduce Michael and ask him a few questions just to introduce him to everybody. And we'll start off talking a little bit about Ox and Ram, the TV show that we're making, and maybe show some clips from the episodes that we're slowly finishing and go into the making of. And then because what we're really passionate about is also creatives and trying to start building a creative tribe of people. So we want to turn it into being for other creatives too. Like, what does it actually take to live off your own art? And that's why we've invited in more people to also have a conversation and see where you are at with yours. Because in my life, I've gotten so much out of talking to Michael and gaining his big perspective on my little craft that I'm sitting and struggling with. Yes, so we'll end on some more Q&A kind of format. So that's basically it. And now I'll try to be talk show host and say, hello, Michael Georgi.
Hello with you, everybody. Oh. This is actually your first time we make this kind of live stream. So this is, yes, this is the first time you do it, isn't it? Yeah, yes. Great. Because communication is everything. The only thing we can do, be ourselves true, what we love to do, our passion is, and then straight and clearly communicate it to each other, because we are all working on our dreams, and what we need is the other people joining in to make our dreams working. So this is all about networking, to join each other.
Yeah.
So it's great.
So I thought, now that nobody else has a clue, who are you? Who is this man that he's suddenly showing everybody? Like, that's a big question. Who is Michael? And
yeah,
and it's a crazy question for me even to just grasp, like, because you seem like you've used your creative powers basically in every industry that exists that I can think of. And
yeah.
So is there some brief summary of like
Well, yeah, well. This is a huge question because in my stage in my life, I still question myself. Who am I? And I believe this is a question which never ends. The search of your soul's mission or plan from God for you. What I've been through is I'm actually German born, in the city of Berlin, while the Cold War was still there, the sign of with the Berlin Wall around it. And I will say I consumed a lot of things, shows, culture, products, everything, media, which is centered in a big metropole like Berlin is. So, so what I can see today is that this culture in Germany, in Berlin, gave me lots of stuff to consume, to study as a consumer. And this was actually my start in my journey. And from that, I started to play music and taught in craftsmanship, mostly with wood. And later got into make my own company, making interior design, architectural design, building private houses for people, make concerts, put together bands, acts, put together cultural events like festivals for children to teach them a simple thing like potato printing on your t-shirts and making rock festivals. So making my own art exhibitions. I got connected with people in the media, in the communication industry. Then we made cultural magazines about culture in our local community. And then I started a media communication bureau office, making advertising, marketing for customers, got into packaging design, and later on had even a look on my customers' products, if they was not hype or not trendy or not functioning well. So I got into design and optimized products, and got more and more employees in my own company because we did fine. And then I started up a company in my office from Denmark. Then I opened an office for the German customers in Berlin. And then I opened it up in an office in London even. And mostly worked more and more for industrial customers. So so the customers got bigger and bigger, which was, yeah, I would say it like that. I started with maybe companies with 2-3 employees. Suddenly they were bigger and bigger. And so I got Sharp Electronics, IKEA, huge companies, global brands, and I worked as the innovator to find the new trend, the new next, and worked on all cross fields of communication, packaging, design the product, make a good post, so to say, point of sales realization, which means I made the shops, I made the exhibitions. The movies, theaters, advertisings, and the radio promotion, commercials. So this is basically my background. And as an artist, so I came more and more into commercial arts to help customers to sell their products and their services to the masses. And by my own, I always working on all kind of artistic expression, like illustrating, painting, music, crafting, everything. So this is a huge wide selection of artistical craftsmanship, I will say. So, and as the years went by, since I'm in a fire soul, and I started many brands by myself. So people joined me from all kind of fields and asked me, how do you do? And hey, have you some project which is interesting? Can I maybe help you? So I much got into to be the advisor and help others to find out, hey, what is your core? What is your passion? What are you? Show me your last project. So I suddenly started to be more and more a mentor, to take a look of what we all are doing. Nice painting, nice music, nice production. So yeah, I'm mostly networking with, on the one side, the artists, and on the other side, the businesses. Yeah, this is actually my world, business and art. So yeah.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Now, of course, I immediately have the perspective of, because I see Jona there from Ox Academy, and also from my own path. I'm so super curious with you, like, what was your schooling like? How do you, like, what was your path to be able to deliver for all these big brands? I guess because the super interesting thing with you is that you're both the mentor and the visionary, but you're also able to actually execute all of the things yourself.
Yeah. This is very, very rare to find, as I got more clearly about as the time went on, that I actually I'm totally self-taught. There's nothing I've done. As in my early years, I got a musical trainee by first in a Yamaha music school, and then later in the private schooling by a private musical teacher. My own father is a master in woodworking, so he taught me at the age of 4 years old. But the illustrating, the painting, and the crafting and so on, and it is all self-taught, because it actually, there's this funny thing which really defined, I believe, my really start in my journey, was that we moved from Berlin to Denmark. So I was at the age of 18 years. So I could see that I not wanted to go the academical way. So this was clearly for me. I couldn't see myself on the university or something, studying toward a career into an academic path. So as we suddenly moved to Denmark, and sorry Denmark, but Denmark is quite boring. If you come from Berlin as an 18 years old, you have all this underground scene, and there's the music is pumping, the trends, the lifestyle, the new fashion. We all look lovely, nice, and fresh and sharp. And then you suddenly wake up in the middle of nothing, a country with some cows or farmers, you know. So actually, I missed so much this culture from Berlin, this colorful lifestyle you have in Berlin. On every second corner, or every corner in Berlin, you have some kind of fast food of Indian style or style, whatever. You can have African, the crew making India musical concerts, so you have so much to select in a country, in a huge city as Berlin is, and suddenly I was here in Denmark, and there was nothing, and they played music like which was 60 years old-fashioned. So in this missing about this culture, this colorful impact, in the lack of getting some cultural statement from other people than my own view and the basic view on the street and the city. I actually created all this thing. So I started to create in Denmark what I missed from Berlin. So that's why I actually was the first one who made really techno events here in Denmark, because I missed this new kind of electronical music. And Denmark was still rock and roll, and for me, rock and roll was totally old school and a long time gone. So to answer your question, so my drive came actually, I want to do this, and had no teacher around me. I had no network around me, so it was like just let's try it. So I learned. So I learned what I feel the new way, and the only way I feel is right. You learn by doing. So this is what I did. Of course, I can't recommend it everybody, because if you take a look on the Facebook, scroll a bit down and look how how wide I'm operating in, this is a lot of work, because you need to reach actually a level of skill, a level of experience to get could deliver something professional. So there's the rule of 5,000 hours. It's not my rule. I believe 10,000 hours you start to be really good in something. But you need really to practice and study and do it to get good in something, whether it's baking or making dinner or painting or making business or marketing or communication or scripting internet or something. So to close this idea, yes, that I'm actually at the end of my path here right now, where it is, and actually just work my ass off since I was 18 years, because I'm constantly studying, practicing, do it better. And yeah, this is
constantly, just to insert a note there, constantly is literally, like, I feel like I can, if I contact you in the middle of the night or in the morning at 4, or I have almost not experienced, do you ever sleep?
Yeah, this is the fine thing is these modern science ideas of ADHD or something. I probably live up to all those kind of ideas. For me, as I see it, I was always the one who has lots of energy, and what I have seen, especially in Berlin, which is actually one of my huge driving forces behind what I'm doing, is in Berlin in the 80s, I will say it was a very dark time. There was so much drugs on the street. There was street fighting. It's not that Berlin is the Bronx from New York City or something, but I've seen as a child so much darkness, and people are destructive to each other, drinking their ass off, going into drugs, and all what I touched there is only destructive people. There was no great lifestyle. They were unhealthy and always fighting, and the family social idea behind was shit also. So I really, this is one of my huge driving forces, that I kept an eye on the people who are going the wrong way. So I tried to find out what is the right way here in life. And what I really found out is that the artists people, the creative people who are actually doing something, are for me the most healthy people. They have a life balance and a presence, which for me is actually the healthy human.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
There's just a question here on the Zoom. Anybody here on the Zoom can just, I think, raise the virtual hand if there's a question to it, right, Michael? We can just take in questions as we go.
Yeah.
Fine. Yes. So Peter has a question. Peter, do you want to come on and just ask it, or should I read up the question that you wrote in the chat? Peter doesn't have a mic.
Yes, no, Michael, yeah.
But the question is here, so I'll just read it to you.
Yeah.
It's not directly related to what we were talking about, but I guess we haven't talked so much about the actual show of Ox and Ram yet, so we'll get to it.
Yeah,
But let's have the question. The question is, will there be any LGBTQ plus themes in the show? My kid is non-binary, and I think they would really value the representation.
Yeah, well, yeah, great question. The show, as we planned it, has, well, everything we as Ox and Ram, let's say it. We are a group of artists connecting about some lifestyle here, and this is an effort of a team. Of course, we are joining about a story which we are visualizing and working on, but we needed to find out what kind of story universe do we operate here. And as we all are creatives here, both Karsten and me and the other guys, we love every kind, almost, I would say it like, we love all kind of colorful new story universe, but we had to decide what the concept of Ox and Ram will be. And this is, at least as I am the main point here, I decided to present. And so for me, the first season here, it will be straight topics which are generic, correctly, politically, just funny. So all kind of deeper, extreme storytelling about gender and whatever you wouldn't find in the season one. So for me, it's like a healthy human friendship from Ox and Ram, who have lots of fun, and of course the show has a sarcasm to it, but I don't see that we incorporate themes like that.
Okay, that is understandable. Maybe for season 2, Peter replies.
Yeah. But we actually.
So now there's another question. Yeah. Or do you want to reply first?
Yeah, just a little. The whole concept of our ceramic is, at that point we need to start it. So this is a start point. But of course, Ox and Ram is life. It's about life. So it can go all directions. So we don't know it. It can be the aunt or the uncle is coming, and suddenly they are coming 4 islands or a main island or something. We are totally open. So maybe in the future we even have a fan group who can comes with inputs. Hey, how do you want to go the story? So we actually could be a kind of modern SimCity or something like that, where others are directing what we want to do. So there is no limit here, actually.
I didn't think of this before, but maybe we could show some of it now.
Yeah.
How much can we show? We have the 2 episodes finished right here.
Yeah, as we are here in the closed room, what the audience wants. What is a bit hard for us, for me here, is if we don't know who we are talking to, we can only talk about our Ox and Ram, what we are doing. What my best intention could be that, and why we are doing it, is to inspire the rest of all artists out there. Because in my, as you got it probably now, for me, the most healthy people are actually the artists. I don't talk about fucked up people like Prince or something, smoking the head off or taking pills. I really mean real artists who are maybe the silence people sitting in the family and suing something or getting good. For me, this is actually you guys. I want to, in my view here, I want to give you hope and trust. Hey, I do my things like Peter and Michael and the crew here do their things. This is my driving force behind it, actually. Yeah. So yeah, it shows something.
Yeah. There are some more questions, but I think maybe it would be nice just to see what is actually that we are doing.
But they have to show. They can.
I can show.
So my question was more related to Peter himself or herself, because I was curious because LGBTQ is such a big topic. It's really big. So I was kind of was a question more for Peter, like what kind of subject did you want to? So it was not for the show or something. So it was more
great. Let's research. Write it down. Send us to us. Let's take a look. Maybe it's a topic we can take on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
As said, Ox and Ram. We only decided at that point who's writing, and we got a pool of stories and taking from the story pool we had at that time. And actually, it's so hard to write great stories. This is a whole career in itself. So we are open. In my opinion, it'd be nice if there's some creative person who is coming with inputs of, hey, can you make an Ox and Ram story about this or this topic? Yeah, great. Could be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, but the current state is that we have, what is it, 52 stories that we are developing into 2 different seasons. And we have the manuscripts for them all, but we just finished the 2nd episode and are now developing the 3rd episode. And the first episode we have is called the baby episode, where Ox, just to maybe even rewind more than that, I don't know how much people even know about the show. The show is about an ox and a ram on each their island out in the sea with absolutely nothing. And now there was a question, what inspired the characters? And I guess Mike can answer it in one way too, but it said we ourselves, and I imagine lots of other artists feel the same way, we live almost in our own little bubbles, on our own little islands, to be able to execute all this art. So in my life, I've pretty much isolated myself from a lot of social contact, just purely out of what I'm doing. And I guess Ox and Ram is somehow, we joke and say I'm Ox and Michael is Ram.
Yeah, great. This is the concept is really to get us isolated from the normal world out there, which is visualized in the island. Plus, we all probably believe when I'm going to be rich, I want to buy a helicopter and an island or something like that. So this is actually the scene we set there. Let's try that. We make this surrounding of this isolated world and create it from there. And this is for me a huge force in the visual idea from Ox and Ram, that we are in the middle of nowhere and everybody can see it. And it's like, hey, there's nothing going on. This must be boring. But actually,
you're dropping out a little bit, Sunny.
It must be boring when you see the scene of nothing. But actually, this is our force that we are forced to think about. We have nothing, and what do we really want to let the story be in this episode going on? So yeah, this is the idea. The isolated persons, which is not normal because we are living all in the middle of everything. But in the show, we are isolated, our characters.
Yeah, it sounds like people have watched the first, so I think I'll just propose that we now show the second one. It's only 5 minutes long.
Yeah,
it's called the to-do list, and I guess it's also kind of a an expression of our lives. But you'll see.
Yeah, I believe every creative, what I will see is creativity is. There's this huge team topic about creativity. But if you really are going to want to be a professional, it's a job like everything else. And the professional creative somebody line goal, and so we all probably know we have deadlines, we have to-do lists, we get to get the job done, and this is about this episode to-do list about.
Yeah. Are we ready? It doesn't have any intro or outro, so it just starts in the middle of it. Let's go.
Oh, those necessary things one always has to do are just so boring. But okay, I understand, because every time we have cleaned and managed to get things fixed, we're so happy again and everything works so well.
Yeah, exactly, Ox. It might be a bit boring at first, but it's always a pleasure to get things done.
Yes. For example, when we fixed the hole in my roof, nice not to get that drop of water on my forehead all those nights it rained.
Good point, Ox. Wasn't there something about another hole in your roof?
Yeah, it dripped on my butt during the night when it rained, and I always think I might have peed the bed. But I don't wet the bed. It's the hole in the roof.
Good you remembered to mention this, Ox. Point 16. Repair hole in the roof. Noted. Next.
We need to cut the bushes, cut the grass, repair my basement light. For that, we need to buy a new light bulb.
One moment, Ox. I can't keep up. Point 17. Cut the grass. Point 18. Repair the basement lights. Point 19. Buy a new light bulb.
But we should also buy some nails.
Nails?
Yeah, you can always use those, and we used the last ones we had.
Okay. Point 20. Buy nails. And then there was undercarriage treatment of my island, watering the flowers, baking bread for tomorrow, washing the bedclothes, cutting nails, painting the inside of my paint bucket, stirring the chocolate milk, otherwise the chocolate is not really mixed well, and this doesn't taste so good.
And so there was point 699, which I think we should correct.
Okay, as soon as I find point 699 here, what do you say must be corrected?
I think we should write that we should buy 2 kilos of flour instead of 1 kilo, as we noted.
Correct. We wrote 1 kilo on this day. So you say that you're in favour of changing this to 2 kilos?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. Yeah, agree. I think we should too. So I am writing that we are expanding point 699 with an extra kilo. Ox, where did the eraser go? I have to wipe out 1 kilo of flour at point 699 and replace it with 2 kilos. But there is no space on the paper and I have to wipe it out. Where is the eraser?
Well, check point 486. There you see the answer.
I can't see anything for all this grass.
Oh, yeah, we have to, according to point 17, cut the grass. Yeah, point 17, we've checked.
Can I have your full attention, Ox? We have a to-do list to write, so we perfectly planned exactly know what we have to do and don't waste our life.
Pardon, you're right. Where did we get to?
Point 11,345.
Oh, we'll be busy when we get started.
If I may take the lead here, because no one else is obviously doing it, I suggest as point 11,345 that we look at correcting the things we have corrected at points 233 and 742. So that when we reach point 11,345, we start by adjusting the things we had previously only adjusted a little.
Are you hungry? I don't think I can concentrate anymore.
Are you completely lost?
What do you mean?
If I'm hungry, are you kidding me now?
What do you mean now?
You have completely forgotten point 7,855.
Have I? But what does that have to do that I'm a bit hungry now?
Ox, for God's sake! We found out a long time ago, when we wrote point 7,855, that we have no more food, and therefore noted we must buy muesli and food and fill up the fridge.
Did we? Oh, sorry. I had completely forgotten that one. But that was also when we were young.
No!
What's wrong now? Why are you screaming like that?
Ox, we have to make a to-do list of all the things that we have to do.
Yeah, necessary to be made. Everything runs much better. But first I need to eat something.
Yes, yes, Ox. Would you mind bringing me a bowl of muesli?
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
It looks very, very nice. Also the story is also a little bit relatable. You know, making so many things that you just almost get lost in all the things you need to do.
Yeah, yeah. This head work, yeah. This over planning. Yeah.
Yes. There's a question in the chat that we can just take them as they come. And it's, are you going to pitch this to any broader networks like Cartoon Network, Disney, or Netflix?
Yeah, yeah, this is my department, and I just started, or not just 14 days. From 14 days ago, I started to find the right connections. There will be Australian, there will be ABC and Cartoon Networks. We even have on the list, and we pre-pitched it a bit to the Danish broadcast TV station here too, and sent the first test sample episodes. So yeah, but we're in early stage, still in early stage. So we can't really come out and say, hey, we're ready. So so we need to plan exactly how can we do it, when are we actually ready, because we have to calculate what is our production speed, because there are so many actions behind those relative simply looking animation episodes, but there's lots to do. It's not. This is why animated films are the most expensive, because there's nothing given to you. All must be drawn, moved, spoken, composed, and designed. So, but we have the first connections done, but we have no order. We have no order at that point.
Is that a question, Jonna? Or yeah, nice.
I have a question about just production-wise. How long does it take to get one episode done, like completely, like how we just see it now?
Yeah. If I may, we had a strong idea at the starting point, personally, Karsten and me, because we know art is like nature, it is endless. So if I'm a huge fan of Pixar's work, and if I say Pixar right now, it's for me, it's the peak of the topic where the animated film today is. Or maybe you look at the Japanese artists who are working 20 years on amazing hand-drawn cartoons, and you really, I personally and Peter agreed that we need to set personal goals, what we wanted, because you can, without any question, you can work 10 years on it and it will be great. But it's a balanced act about time and money and personal energy, and what do you want else out of life, because you can get stuck and sucked in this. This is amazing. You're playing God. You can design everything. So of course your lifetime is not enough. So back to your question is, so we really made from the early age the concept of, we don't want to compete with Pixar. We don't want to build up a headquarter where 150 people are coming every morning, sitting together. No, we want it really fresh, as the internet is open today and the bandwidth is great. We actually behind Oxenram, the Ferryscapes company, and the Ferryscapes company is actually our main target is, can we get people involved in creating working spaces for others? So as if we screw the time backward, maybe 1950 or something, the huge media corporations were coming, the magazine world were done, and the paper world and so on. For me, we are in the historical point where we really can start a totally new company, which is not like Walt Disney or something, where people, or Pixar, one head office. No, actually, Ferryscapes, the idea is that we maybe in the next 10 years can be a working space for 1,000 people, and network people sitting around in their garden in Colombia or whatever, and we collect and can cooperate to make those lovely audiovisual stories. I will call it animation or whatever. So this was the main idea, and as Peter and me are the creators, the founders of Ferryscapes, we said, okay, we must be the first crew. We must be the first team of Ferryscapes. So actually, you're talking of 2 employees working for Ferryscapes, which are the owners of Ferryscapes. So this is a bit a research and development product in our own company. How can we make it, and what does it need to make great audiovisual stories? Because as we all know, we can get a printed book, and it's amazing to look at maybe 20, 30 illustrations and a nice story. So the printed book, as we know it for 100 years with children's stories, is amazing. It's still amazing. But we decided to go in Ferryscapes to go audiovisual publishing. So back to your the question is, so we tried to make it as compact and limited as possible, still to express what we want to express in the stories. So, and this took us a huge amount of time to get things away. Do we really need to do this and this and that? Because in this world, I don't know how much you know about it, but if you really say, oh, I need an explosion here, and the fireman is coming, and they have chopters coming, the police is coming. Whoa, stop. You just bought something for $100,000 because you need an explosion for 10,000. So long story short, we are 2 episodes and worked for 4 months.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I've studied animation for 3 years, and first before school was like, okay, I will do animation, and then we had classes and topics on how much a production takes. And you're like, whoa, that's insane. People take years just for one movie, and then it's in 1 hour it's over, but you took years to accomplish that. So
just think, but the normal people out there don't know it. It's like going on the street and seeing a nice hotel, but you don't know, you don't relate how much this building costs. And the same with, as you said it, you're looking at, you said 2 hours, let's say 95 minutes or 100 minutes, and the best example is maybe Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4, there's something like 150 people working for 4 or some years or something. It costs $200 million. You have a story of 100 minutes, which cost $200 million. Whoa. Whoa.
That's insane.
This is insane. Nobody knows about that, because this is behind the scene for the professional who know what this is costing. So, and by the way, we have, of course, the same problem because the audience doesn't know it. So they don't care. So if you take a child, age of 6 or 7 or 8, they don't care if it's from Pixar or Disney or from Peter and Michael or something. So they don't see the money. And this is the great thing about art, that you really need to see what is my intention, what do I want to tell here. So we really tried and used lots of logistic thinking to cut it down. So we cut more. I believe 90% of work we do is cut away instead of and 10% creating. So it's very stiff. It's like you have the idea of how they're creative, they are drawing here with your pen and so. No, it's thinking. It's hard thinking. Do I need this explosion? Is it really pleasing the story, or can I make something else? So this is a balance. It's really balanced. So 2 stories, 4 months, 4 people working. Actually 5 people working in this period here.
Oh, that's fast for 5 people working. I think it's still a fast process.
Yeah.
The initial goal was 52 in 3 months, right? 52 episodes in 3 months.
Don't laugh at me. But this was my kind of, hey, let's do something. And I said in a joke, hey, 52 episodes, that must be, can't be 52 days plus 8 days for some rest. So my actually plan was 60 days. This must be 3 months. Can we do it? But I know it couldn't be done. But it was actually my idea to loosen up, because what I know in my career, no matter what you're into, you get suddenly in a behavior that you act like you always do. You feel you need those brushes, this color, or those kind of things to do it. But if you don't make this loosen up thing and try to take a new, fresh look of what you're doing, you will be stuck in your procedure. So actually learning comes from taking you away from what you learned and give you some new air, new perspective. And this is what I tried at the point. I already knew animation is expensive and takes a lot of time. I wasn't naive. But I tried to box us like, hey, let's do it. Can we be innovative here? Because
some motivation, like, let's go, we can do this.
Yeah, precisely. And this is actually what I searched and found out in my personality and my soul's journey here from my career and all those 2,500 projects I've been in, that my force is actually to be the innovator, to try to kick the group, to get it more simple, more beautiful, by using less energy. So yeah, which is funny because at the end we all lose lots of energy and are stuck in work here.
Yeah, so there's 10 minutes left of what I had framed as this live session. And is there anything like we wanted to cover? There's another question. Maybe we can take that one. Do you have any lessons within the show? Anything you'd want kids to take away from it?
Whoa, this is a huge question. Actually, what seems to be some silly stories there, which are easy to consume, are actually really, it's my brain. So with my brain, I really worked hard on them, because if you have this this intention of what can I give the children, the consumer, the audience out there, at that time we are here in history. So I asked myself, what can I give there? And because for me, storytelling is a bit a trend thing in yourself. If you look at your old Warner Bros. Animation cartoons, you will always see that a film, and no matter if it's animating or film, a film is always a bit like a cut and a preview. What the theme of the time in the world's history is. So in old Warner Brother film, you can see lots of military things going to the military and the war is coming and so on. And back to this, for me, it's today where we are so isolated and everybody is online. I really said to myself, I don't like this kind of you must do that and that and that, this instructional adult being or authority thing. I believe we all are souls, some are in a younger body and some are in the older body, but we all are curious and are copying and looking at each other and trying to find out what is he or who she and so on. So for my attention was more to create Ox and Ram as two characters which are playful and curious toward each other, and that's why they are so different as Peter and me is. So he is totally calm and I'm totally fine. Hey, everything's possible, and Peter's, oh, how should we do that? and this is actually the
right? Karsten, right? Or
sorry,
Karsten, right? Or
yeah, Karsten. And this is what I actually wanted to get out, that let them only play in front of us to see how they do it, and the way they treat each other, I think is very, very great, because the one has totally another lifestyle and thought thinking than the other, but they both accept and still listen to each other and try to understand. And this is what all stories come around about. So that this research in each body, this is what I really wanted to get more of, because for me, all people, we are all love, we are all souls and all have hearts. The difference is if we meet each other or other persons who are digging enough into how are you, what do you feel, what's your call. So and this is what I believe Ox and Ram is doing.
mm-hmm.
But funny, Karsten, Peter, Kjærhoop.
Yeah, well, my second name is Peter. It's true.
Your four names.
Yeah, well, just
You are split personality.
Do you have a question, Joanna? Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to ask something about business in general in animation industry. How do you balance like a work-life balance between the animation industry? Because I see in the internet, on Instagram and other people, that the animation business is very, busy. There's you have to work really hard, sometimes even overtime in some businesses. And I'm wondering how you are doing that with Ox and Ram, or just in general, how do you balance, like, okay, now I'm not doing anything creative and now I'm going to work, or you're like, oh, I'm only working from 9 to 5 because then it's done. So I want to see what your take on is on that work-life balance in the creative industry.
Michael doesn't know what that is. But
No.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, should I start? Or
no,
do you want
go,
to start?
You go, Michael.
Also, I must say, I worked in many industries, and for me, let's say it like that. If you see a drawing of a child 6 years old, you as the mother or the father probably feel this drawing of your child has a huge value. Okay, if you take this drawing to a customer, do you want to make your packaging decorated with this drawing? I believe no customer will give that any value. So the funny thing is, what is value? What is value? And now it comes, what is art? What is art? For me, art is, if you throw some color on the paper, this is art, this is art. But for me, art, the user, the consumer, the audience, take a look at what you created and must confess, whoa, this is something I can't do. So if you reach as the craftsman or the artist, something you built, and the other person can clearly see, whoa, this is beyond my level skill. For me, then you reach the level of value you have created. And now it comes, as your surrounding higher the level, because we have great contributions in film, in entertainment, everybody, because the whole world is competing. See me, see me, see me, here, feel me. Then, if no matter where you are placed or situated in the world, you need each one need to get from zero, knowing and have no skills. You need to come up to a level which is a quality which can be sold, and you can only reach to get it sold if you are higher than the audience feel they can do it by themselves. So this is actually back to my thing here is, wow, so we are competing here with the top industry, which is, let's say, 100 years old. It's a young industry. It's the animation. The old industry is the carpenter, wood making, or digging in the grass or something, or making living by making potatoes or something. This is old industry, but we are all in the new industry, which is not older than 100 years. But we are already so connected, and everybody has consumed this. So if Walt Disney, which is came today with his first Mickey Mouse drawing, or nobody would buy it. It will look like this is hobby primitive shit. So actually, you need to work your ass off to get the hours done, because you need by yourself being better. So maybe most people think like, oh, I have the target to could draw good, and then they practice under here until they reach the level. I can draw this sunset. Now I can draw. But this is not the reality. The reality is the artist has come from here. He's practicing. He's sitting on the toilet practicing and thinking and so on. And you practice. You make food every day until you make one dish. Wow, this is delicious. Or you paint. So actually, the artist is coming from here. Always working on your skills. You get better every week. And suddenly one of your creations, whoa, this is funky. The people love it out there. So when you look at Ox and Ram, the not trained eye will see this looks easy. This looks easier. A couple of strokes and some color, nice. But I tell you, to create this kind of graphic universe I created here, you must be at least over 10,000 hours experience. So even if you're a great artist, have done that for 5 years or 6 or 8 years, you will not could reach this level of illustration graphic style. Because you need to draw 1,000 trees to get so simple to make two strokes, and wow, this is a tree. With 2 strokes. So it's like Picasso. He started in his business, in his career, or Dali, Picasso, let's say, he draw. You start with realism. You draw people's realistic realistic still lifes, or houses, surroundings. And then you fine tune what is my expression. And later on, Picasso got more and more abstract and had the same expression, more expressive even than the photograph could even show this landscape better than your oil painting. So this is the same here. So to answer your question, from my concern, I even not want to tell you how much I work, because I sleep and work. That's it. I work my ass off, because if you want to show this so simple structure, what you just looked at there, you need to be beyond 10,000 hours of experience. And this
So
is
it's actually about what your goal is. Like, okay, if you want to have 10
Yes.
hours, then you need to work for that.
Yeah.
And that's,
You need to, yeah, precisely. And in all kind of different art I worked on, because I make a living since I was 18 years. I lived off my creativity full time, and even had employees to make them living. But you need to get on a level, and I will describe it as that. Think about the young child, 6 years, making a drawing. If you're an artist, you love the color, you love this abstract way of drawing. You even maybe a bit like, oh, I wish I was young again and just could doodle around instead of always thinking to be a better. But this is not value. This is value for the mom and the dad. But go to the customers, and he will not give a penny from this drawing. So the level of thing is really, you need to get up above the level what the audience, the customer, can see. I, as the buyer of this, can see this is value, because I cannot do this. Which means in my brain, this is value, because this is nothing I can do. But if you can play the 2 chords on the guitar, it's no value for you. When if somebody asks you, do you want to give me $100 for playing guitar? Sorry, here's my guitar. I play the same chords. Why should I give you money for this? I can do it by myself. Sorry.
I have a curiosity here, because I think there's one more thing in the question also, because I've asked myself this question many times. Because I started doing the same and burning out and crashing and seeing my classmates getting different wrist damages, and like Peter is now asking in the questions also, should you not take breaks any times to clear the mind? And I know the question so well, and I've looked at it so much, and I think also now that you give your perspective, what I've noticed when working with you is that you have a very low, what do you say? Your negative
Threshold for shit.
Your negative thoughts about yourself. Sorry, I didn't get it. But your negative thoughts about yourself are almost non-existent. So there's very low resistance. And what I see in myself and a lot of other artists that create all these issues for themselves is that there's a lot of self-torment going on as well, that makes it look like that the work is actually wearing you down, but it feels like there's actually some thoughts and things that you don't look at that are being brought up by all this work that is wearing you down. And this is where I have often crashed in the self-loathing, or I'm not good enough, and it feels like that is what you need to take a break from. And the work itself is not the unhealthy thing as such, but of course there is there's still a balance. Because I cannot work as much as you, for instance, but I can work more than I could 10 years ago. And I feel healthier now than I did 10 years ago. So there's not a direct correlation between how much you work and how healthy you are. I feel there's just some cleaning up of your own conditioning and stuff that happens on the way. And that is really tiring. And that I feel is what creates depressions and burnouts and crashes.
I also
yes.
So you can finish.
Just the last thing is that they easily get conflated. Like people say, oh, you're working way too much. You're working way too much. It's unhealthy, but it's not the same. At least I don't know if it comes across, but that's how I perceive it. Yeah.
I saw a podcast, a Dutch podcast, and it told, like, if you have like a goal, it's not work. It's because you are, you want to do this. You're putting the hours to do this. Still, I'm also a person, I can't recreate, I'm not that creative all the time. I think I saw that in school that I was always struggling. Oh, I have to have ideas. You have to have 3 ideas tomorrow. And I was like, oh no, I can't think. But as I saw later, it's when you really want something and it's really from your heart, then it's not work anymore. So I think that's different from when you do something and it gets tiring because it's not really, if you don't do it like for you, well enough for you, I think.
Yeah. May I say something?
Yeah.
Also, I worked in 13 different industries.
Wow.
And the most critical job is to be an artist, because you are constantly screwing around yourself. So you're constantly in a conflict with yourself. An artist is always a totally critical person inward. I want to sing better. I want to play better. I want to draw better. I want to sew better. I want to compose the graphic better. I want to cut it better. Whatever. Don't taste. I don't bake the cake enough. An artist is the most self-destructive person because, face it, you are a piece of art by yourself. You're nature, and you're endless. You know already, I can do better. So at the time you start, you know, actually, this is not great enough because I can do better. So this is really, it takes so much discipline to set up a goal and just follow it and deliver it. Well known that you could do next month, you could do better than today. So this is really hard working. Let's face it, if you have a job like presenting on the market some food, or so, you can talk to people high because you earn your $5 from selling tomatoes, which is a nature product. You pluck them and sell it. But if you work on yourself, you know, my tomatoes are not growing good enough. I could do better. So to be an artist is really the most insane job, because you will never satisfied, because you can always do better. So, but to your last question, you need to have some basic skills in your body, which means the brain to your finger or whatever. You need to unlearn this stuff. So, and the only thing which does it is the hour you put in it. So, so it is so much work. And so few people are willing to do the work because it's hard work. It's isolate yourself, say no, thank you to the party, but it's much more cozy to hang around with other guys and get some confirmation of life is great. And the artist is sitting down, doing and working on his or her skills. So this is actually totally hard. To even if it doesn't matter if you write or draw or perform or something, but you need to get way above the normal level of the others. And to get there, you just need to practice. So you must by yourself decide, I can use so many hours. Do it and be happy, and have your extra hours, put them into this. But it's so important to have a goal, because every piece of art is something you could do better. Everything. So you are never enough. You're never enough because you compete with yourself. This is what an artist is, for me.
Yeah, but it's a great perspective. I feel like the only thing that, like, we are going to end now. It's already 10 minutes over. But if it's okay with you, Michael, just to,
yes.
because I also know that you've worked a lot as a result of working in all these industries. You've started working with humans a lot, like with the psyche and almost at a spiritual level, because you've become so aware of people exactly like this question breaking down and things coming in the way and art blocks. And so I know that it's a huge topic for you. Like now hearing this, you need to work and work. I love that, but as I also know that you have the other side to it as well, like this. What's the question here? The question.
May I say something to this?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe we are meeting here today about the topic of Oxoram. We are making a series, but actually we have the company which is Ferryscapes. Ferryscapes, who? Never heard about it. No, we are new. But the vision actually is for me that Ferryscapes is the surrounding for many upcoming artists, whether you are writing, scripting or whatever, performing, whatever, because the artist, what is so important is your surrounding. You need a supportive surrounding, because you work your ass off. If you want to be some medical person, a doctor, you start 5.5 years studying, then you practice 4 or 5 years in another doctor's business, and after 10-12 years maybe you are ready to could do something for your patients. And the artist is a bit similar. You need a long time of lifestyle where you have a supporting surrounding around you, which means from Monday to Sunday, a partner and friends and a home where you really thrive. So if you have a partner who is not ambitious as you are, he wouldn't understand, or she wouldn't understand, that you in the middle of the night are maybe working your ass off 48 hours or something. But if you're into practicing to get into this thing, this craft of drawing something into, you need to go beyond the level of normal. So it is so important to have a supportive surrounding and in your life, in your practical life. Don't get a house which is too expensive, and find a place which is maybe a bit boring, but you can thrive here for 1,000 hours. And yes, there could be nice friends and party again, but you really need to get the hours put in it. So this is the most difficult part. Are you strong enough to believe in yourself? Because you're only getting weak, and then you go back to the herd and said, party out there, I miss people. So there is no conclusion in this, but I just want to confess that you need to come up with a level. I'm personally saying 10,000 hours. If you're into a level of 10,000 hours, you're on the level where you have the craftsmanship, and then you can actually first start to play. What do I want to say? What do I want to tell you? So you need to get 10,000 hours. Then you become a master. Then you can really start to express what you really want to express. And this is hard work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. So I think we've come the whole way through. Unless there's any more questions, I don't see more in the chat. I don't know how many have been watching this.
I think it was a very interesting discussion almost, because I've seen now also different perspective, also from Peter and also from you and Karsten, of course. And it's really interesting to also hear a little bit about someone in the workforce, because I have people around me, but then not like that level in the workforce that they have years and years of experience. So it's nice to hear a discussion with people that are actually in the workplace, really putting the hours in the production, then just, I have like artists around me just doing commissions, you know, I really want to have more, you know, people in the industry to hear some information about it. And it was a very interesting way in the Zoom to talk about this. And
may I ask you,
yeah.
how many hours do you think, how many years have you been into what you're doing?
I'm drawing myself. I've been drawing since I could hold a pencil, you know, 2 years old, but really seriously finding a style, seriously thinking about anatomy. I think when I was 15 years old, I started to really go from sketchbook to sketchbook, and also going to art schools, art academy. And so I'm doing a lot of drawing. Yeah. So
yeah, okay. Yeah, it's so I believe it resonates in you that you're actually constantly working on yourself. What do I want to express, and what is my style? Yeah.
it's not more about my style. Your style changes every time, like every day. I just, now that I found my style, it's always improving, but I'm now looking more into, okay, how can I start more business wise? How do I do copyright? How can I make a short film, for example? How do you find all that information from really the business side of animation and drawing? And I'm really looking into it more these days, these past few months, just to, you know, get some money out of it. And also, you know, later maybe I want to work with people, and also, you know, get really in the workforce without getting into something that's not, because I really like animation, but I don't really like doing animation. I really like the character designing aspect of it, and I really want to discover more about how can you make an animation, how can you work with people, how can you, like you're doing actually with Ox and Ram, how can you make a series, like really the production side. So I'm just really interested in the business now.
Yeah, great. Karsten, are you with us? Karsten is gone.
I think he's looking into the live chat or something, like how. But I found it a very interesting, really interesting live.
Yeah. Oh, I can't hear you, Karsten. You are on mute.
This is
Yeah.
now. My microphone went out of battery, so I was just sitting and talking and getting frustrated.
Yeah.
I was saying that Joel is a very good character designer, Jonah.
Thank you very much.
Maybe show some of
always appreciate it.
Maybe you are the next.
Engaged you are too. Like this really made this call really nice. I feel like interactive, better than what we could have hoped for.
Yeah, and Karsten, can you see it? As I told you, if you think about Ferryscapes, you know, the mission is everyone could do what he or she loves doing, and for me, a company is something which is built around people. So if people want to play football, which is not my game, we should build a company around football. How can we live of it? And if some want to be creative, the Ferryscape is my brainchild, visualized it for many years, because I wished at my earlier stage that there were people who had a company where I actually, just a simple thing like I felt understood, because on the street and everyday life, you as an artist are a bit like sitting on the street and drawing something and try to get $1 or something from people rushing by. So this is a bit the thing. the life of the artist. And for me, it's like, hey, if you left school, you can only find courses or ongoing workshops or something like that, but you really need to have some companies who is catching up all those people. So maybe you have already the next character and a new upcoming team led by Ferryscapes management or something can build the next series. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Right. I don't have any more questions. And I feel like it's been really great to have this chat.
Yeah.
I think it's very good. How do you say that? I don't know the English word, like final, what he said about the artist. I think it was a good final
nice
closure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Of course, the last thing for me, of course, looking closer on the production of Ox and Ram is so exciting, because to really get deeper into the development, what kind of story, how long should they be, what kind of animation, and so on, how many characters do we need to tell a story, the conflict of a drama. There are some people going down the street, and what kind of conflict is coming. So, and toward the graphic design, how many colors, how complicated should we make the color palette, and what kind of stylistical graphic style do we need? Can we support this and make it actually animating, or is it too complex to get through all those layers it will demand if you make a more inkish style of show? There's so much to tell more, but Karsten decided that we start up like that, and then the first episode, Ox Academy, about Ox and Ram. So it was more a holistical view, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We can do another one sometime.
Yeah, but now I need to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Very nice. If something like this would ever happen again.
Yeah.
Great to hear. Great to hear.
I feel like I want to do it much more often. Yeah, but we have to see. We don't want to take away all your hours, Mike.
I will make time.
Yeah. Yeah, as said to you, Karsten, for me, you are the excellent facilitator of surroundings, which I just was about, that the artist need a supportive surrounding, and your mom don't know what you're doing, your father don't know it, and probably your girlfriend or boyfriend even don't know. So it's so important that we have some place to join. Hey, how do you do this? And so for me, Karsten, this is more of this kind of academy to lean on, to just click on and listen today what's going on here. So like a kind of radio, TV, audiovisual station, always sending creative power, new vibrations, new colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. Let's close it off then for today.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you so much for everybody who watched, and my mom on Facebook probably.
Yeah. Hello, everybody on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Have a nice day, all of you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.